Chapter. We're talking real money.
Time flies, doesn't it? It's another Friday. I know I say that pretty much every Friday because, well, time flies and it's already Friday again. Hi, everybody. I'm Don McDonald. This is the Talking Real Money Q&A and C show because we do get some comments and thoughts from time to time. And as a matter of fact, we have a couple of those today. It's sort of a light question day because we haven't had the huge influx of questions we had a few weeks ago. So if you want to send a question in, good time to do it. Just go to talkingrealmoney.com on the contact form and click on the record your question button and record your question and send it to us. And I'll answer it on a Friday. How's that sound? Sounds good to me. Anyway, so we're here. Let's see. It's middle of June when I'm recording this. And from the date this goes up, I just was going, whoa, it's like less than 2 weeks until the road trip. Am I ready? Heck no. No, I am not ready for the road trip. But I will be ready, whether I'm ready or not. Ready or not, here I come. I'm traveling across the country, meeting up with some of you along the way at some very unique places. And I appreciate all the invitations to those unique places. It's going to be fun, I hope, if Debbie and I don't kill each other on the way. Let's see. So anyway, we've got a lot of questions. Not a lot. We got some questions. We got some comments. And let's start with, well, this one's an interesting comment.
It's Mike calling from Colorado. I'm actually on the beautiful Bar Trail hiking down from Pikes Peak. I thought I'd let you guys know, I was just listening to your podcast, and you guys were talking about Vanguard and the level of customer service, how things have kind of gone south. And I've been with Vanguard over 30 years. Robinhood had all those recent promotions with 3% bonus if you transferred over your IRA and a 1% bonus if you transfer over your individual brokerage account. And I called Vanguard to ask them to talk me out of it, believe it or not. And the girl I talked to spoke in broken English and could not give me any legitimate reason why I should stay at Vanguard. And then I called another time and talked to a gentleman there, and he was actually very well informed about the whole promotion. And he said if he was in my shoes, he would definitely just move his monies over to Robinhood. And in my situation, I participate in the Merriman buy and hold strategy, best in class, ultimate buy and hold. I rebalance once a year. I don't play any games with what Robinhood tools are available to me. And all in all, I'd moved all my money over there, and I got over $70,000 in matching, in bonus money from Robinhood. And I'm just thrilled as heck about that, but I just thought I'd give you my story. Hope you guys have a great day. Love your show.
You're literally hiking down the Bar Trail as you're recording. We live in a great time, don't we? I know the Bar Trail well. I'm an old Colorado Springs person from way back. I lived in Colorado Springs from 1969 until 1993. Pretty much, with a few absences along the way. So yeah, I've hiked some of the Bar Trail, not the whole thing. The Bar Trail goes up Pikes Peak from Manitou Springs, and it's not a horrible hike. You'd think, going up to 14,000 feet, it would be pretty awful, but it's not terrible. I haven't done the whole thing. I've been to the top of Pikes Peak many times, but not walking. I did once walk to the top of the Sangre de Cristos with my brother down in the southern part of the state. But anyway, back to the comment. Vanguard's customer service going downhill. Now, I don't think they could make a cogent argument against going to Robinhood and taking their stupid free money. And for those of you who don't have a clue what I'm talking about, or the caller's talking about, Robinhood in April promised to give anybody who rolled over, transferred an IRA into their brokerage account and became a gold member for an annual fee and remained so for a while, promised them a 3% match. Basically, 3% free money. But only if you did it before April 30th. So it's too late now. However, Mike took advantage of it and apparently had a few bucks in his Vanguard account. So how can you argue with 70,000 free dollars? No real serious strings attached, just a small fee for their gold account. And you can still buy Vanguard. This is what is ironic about the whole thing, is now you could buy $70,000 more of Vanguard ETFs thanks to the bonus. So good for you, Mike, and good for you being healthy out there hiking, as opposed to me down here in Florida sitting in my air-conditioned house because I'd be sweating if I was outside in that 97-degree heat. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, thanks, and thanks for the information, and congratulations. Good move. Very good move. Now, we got another caller.
Hey, guys. Love the show. Recently, you were talking about Vanguard's new fees and the $100 to leave Vanguard fee. Now, made me wonder why they would do such a thing. And it reminded me of one of your shows recently that talked about Robinhood's new 5% bonus for jumping ship and transferring out. Made me think maybe that's why they are putting this fee on, so that people don't just switch accounts for little bonuses so easily. What do you guys think?
And speaking of irony, that was the very next question to come in through talkingrealmoney.com. Seriously, the very next question. You're right. I mean, the $100 fee is to keep people from jumping ship. Why? Well, the fact is, very few people used to jump ship, but now there's competition for Vanguard, particularly in the ETF space. That's really where they're getting a run for their money, and they won't be able to rely on the loyalty of their mutual fund customers. A little harder to move. ETFs, as I just mentioned, Mike he could go into Robinhood and get Vanguard through their ETFs. Don't buy their funds, but because you pay a fee to get the funds, but you don't pay a fee for the ETFs because they trade like stocks. So yeah, it's a fee designed to keep people from just spur of the moment jumping ship, going to Schwab or Fidelity or something. But it feels like an annoyance. It's not the financial aspect of it. It's the almost pettiness of it. And I kind of feel that way about a lot of things these days, a lot of money issues, like the service charges that they put on bills at restaurants and the like, where they say, this is not a tip, this is a service charge to make sure everybody's paid fairly. Well, wait, if you're paying everybody fairly, used to be that my tip was the way they got paid, but now if they're getting paid well, why do I need to tip? Well, you can tip if you want, and we'd really like it if you did. But I don't feel like double tipping. It's sort of an annoyance. I'm not going to put 40% on top of my bill, but what's really annoying about it is build the darn thing into your price structure. Really, just build it in. Build these annoyance fees into your pricing structure. It's like the fee if you want to use a credit card at a restaurant. Well, we're going to charge you 3 or 4% if you use a credit card. Well, don't most people use credit cards these days? Why don't you raise your prices by 2%, since some people still pay cash, and don't charge the 3%, because no one's going to know the difference. Well, for example, I mean, if what you normally charge for a dish was $12.99, this is not an expensive restaurant, obviously, and you raise the price to $13.25, $13.25, is that going to change my decision to dine with you? No, that's 2%. But if you add a 3% to my bill, I'm going to feel annoyed that you're saying, no, don't use your credit card. That's just me. Anyway, we're talking about money. It's Talking Real Money. That's the name of the show. We're taking questions and comments. I think we're done with the comments. I think we're doing questions now for the rest of the episode. So here's another one.
Hey, Don. This is Jason from Utah. Thank you for all that you and Tom do for us out here trying to navigate these waters. I have a question for you about my 401k plan. With the company I'm with, they use Fidelity, and Fidelity has an option for us to use something called Brokerage Link, which I basically get two accounts, one Roth and one non-Roth, that all my 401k dollars can move into automatically every pay period. And then I can invest in nearly anything as far as I can tell, or at least in the index funds I want to invest in. Are there versus not being in the actual 401k. I'm curious if you've heard of this option. I don't see any cost associated with it, so I'm hoping it's just part of our plan costs overall. And the only downside for me is it won't let me automatically allocate the funds once they make its way in there after a pay period, because I don't necessarily purchase the Fidelity funds, I suppose. So I have to go in and manually purchase, for example, some Vanguard index funds and things like that every 2 weeks manually, which is fine. I'm basically rebalancing every 2 weeks, it appears, which I don't mind doing at all, especially to have the options available to me. Anyway, just curious your thoughts on this approach and any downside that you can possibly think of. Thanks so much.
No, the Brokerage Link account is not any extra fee at Fidelity. It's a nice added feature because it does allow you within a 401k or retirement program of whatever kind to invest in exchange traded funds, which can actually save you money over buying mutual funds and give you a much broader selection of options. Now, technically, you are rebalancing every 2 weeks. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that under normal circumstances, but the Brokerage Link account thing is great. You can get into marvelous, very low cost, passive style exchange traded funds and build a really, really well diversified portfolio that you otherwise probably couldn't do in most 401ks because of the limited selection of choices that most of these offer. So I think it's a great thing. It's a great addition to your plan. It was nice that this is offered to you, and I don't see any extra fees being charged, so no downside to me. Thanks for the call, the recording, the question. There's one more.
Hey, Tom and Don. This is Frank from Illinois. I really appreciate your show. It's very interesting and definitely entertaining, and you guys share a lot of knowledge, and definitely enjoy listening to you guys. I have a kind of a different question, I think, today. I'm looking at the stock market, comparing it to, say, 40 years ago, just how we buy stocks and who's investing in the stock market. And I think, well, today there's so many people that are investing in the stock market through mutual funds, through their 401k, and in just kind of a automatic, every week or every 2 weeks, they're just, they're just buying more shares and buying more shares. All the index funds obviously are a big part of that. Versus 40 years ago, with before 401ks and all that, that really wasn't a thing. So I'm thinking that because there's so many people that are investing in the stock market, literally every day, just through their, if nothing else, through their 401ks. I know there's obviously many other ways they do that, but it just seems to me that the stock market's inflated because of that. I don't know, just a theory, and I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I know we have declines in 2008 and 99 and all that, but it just seems to me that if more people are buying on a regular basis, consistent basis, that it would kind of stabilize the stock market, and in a way overinflated, I guess, in my thought. I'm definitely a novice at this, so I just was looking at some expert advice on shooting holes in my theory, but just curious what your thoughts are on that. I'd be interested to hear your response. Thanks so much.
Investor activity has been gradually increasing ever since the first stock exchange were invented in the 16th century. No, 15th century, 16th century. Yeah, 16th century. So it used to be it was just the purview of the very, very wealthy, those who could afford to gamble on stocks. But it has become something very, very different. The markets today, particularly in this day and age, but all along the way, have existed to provide liquidity to investors so that you knew you could get a reasonably fair price for your investment in a business on an exchange where there were other buyers and sellers all the time. Well, now we have, the number of buyers and sellers is astronomical, which I believe improves the efficiency of the market a great deal. But its most useful purpose is that liquidity it provides that ensures that investors feel more comfortable about buying new stock in a company. So if a big company, I can even use an Apple, if they wanted to issue more shares of stock, it would dilute the current shareholders a little bit possibly, and that's not the point. But it would, because of the robustness of the market, it would make an investor feel very comfortable buying the stock, knowing that there was a place to sell it at any time at a relatively fair price that is decided by the marketplace. The pricing is decided by the marketplace, and there's a proven high degree of efficiency in the markets over longer periods of time. There are slight inefficiencies that sometimes get exploited, but overall it's a pretty good thing. And so what we're seeing today is that even though indexes are buying things because they're just buying that index, or passive funds are buying that asset class, there is still a very active market. You will always have a lot of people who are trying to buy at the right time and sell at the right time and make big profits and moving markets and doing the fundamental analysis and reading up on these companies to make sure that they have some underlying value. It is not a blind thing because the indexes are always changing based on the popularity. It's a popularity contest of certain stocks. So I can't imagine that we would ever have an environment where everybody was in indexing, and I think that's sort of the ancillary point. But the other factor is, where else would you put the money? What it says is that Americans, well, everybody, humans, have a little bit of excess capital to put away primarily, well, for future goals, but primarily for our old age. Because we have an old age. That's something relatively modern. The fact that we have to save for retirement is a brand new thing. I am reading, not really reading, listening to it. It's my car listen. I have a book that I read, and then I have a book that I listen to when I'm in the car, because you can't read in the car. Eric Larson's The Demon of Unrest, which is about the beginning of the Civil War, Fort Sumter. And in there, the author quotes a statistic, and I don't remember the exact number because I don't have it in front of me, and I didn't think I would use it right now. But in 1860, the average age in America, the average life expectancy in America was, I think it was about 38 or 39 years. So you didn't have time to retire. A few people got older, but it wasn't that many. Whereas the average life expectancy today is about 40 years longer. So we have to do it. We have to save money for retirement. We didn't have to save and invest in the past. So there was less of it. There really wasn't as much need for it. Today, it is essential that we save and invest in our earning years. And where else would the money go? If you gave it to a life insurance company who would give you a little tiny payment, like 2 or 3%, maybe 4% a year, what are they going to do with the money to make money on the money? They're going to buy stocks. So we're just taking the middleman out of the process, or at least reducing the importance of the middleman and doing it ourselves. So don't worry about it. Really, People have worried about this since the beginning of stock markets, and every once in a while they do get way ahead of themselves because the greed overwhelms good sense. And then the fear overwhelms good sense later in the process. But over the long haul, you've seen a pretty steady growth in the economy, and that's what people are investing in. And that money that's coming in a roundabout way, provides new capital for the growth of these businesses. So thanks for your question. I really appreciate it. And go to talkingrealmoney.com and ask your questions. You just go to the contact form and click on the microphone button, and then you ask. And please be sure to check out the trip. I'm going across the country starting the beginning of July. And Tom and I are going to even cook some burgers and dogs for folks in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm going to be camping at various places along the way. You can join me. If I have a hot dog or something in the freezer or in the fridge, I'll pop one on the fire for you. And we'd love to meet you along the way. So go to talkingrealmoney.com, check that out. And also, if you want to talk with one of our advisors for free, really free. It's not just a free consultation where you're going to get pitched something. No, you're not going to get pitched anything. You're going to get free help. You can't hire us for free. That would be stupid, wouldn't it? We're not stupid, but we do like helping people, and we do intend to help everyone we can. So go to talkingrealmoney.com, ask for help from an advisor, check out the trip, ask us questions, do all those things anytime, because the website's open 24/7, and join me every Friday. Oh, and by the way, if you want to ask a question in person, like face-to-face or voice-to-voice, not face-to-face, on Saturdays, Tom and I take your calls, and for, several weeks to come, I think starting this weekend, or is it next weekend? I think it's next weekend. Tom's going to be on vacation in Africa, so I'm going to be all alone. So call me on Saturdays from 3 to 5 Eastern Time, that's noon to 2 Pacific Time, at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255, because every Saturday we're live talking real money.
The opinions and views expressed on this podcast were current on the date recorded. Opinions, estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions. Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy. Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appellate Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appellate Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Please see Appellate Wealth's ADV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Appellate's fees and services. Appellate Capital, LLC, DBA Appellate Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Appellate does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. Is anybody still listening?